Welcome to Fresh from the Esky. Subtitled Ordinary Lives, Ordinary People. Accompanied by ordinary production, ordinary editing. Sit back, grab a beer, relax and enjoy. Welcome listeners to what is episode 2 of season 2 of Fresh from the Esky. Recorded this one earlier while we're on our seasonal break with Joel Oysters Kilpatrick, and it's also Megan Rickett's first time along as a guest compere whilst we're interviewing someone, and it was actually the guest she invited on. So let's have a listen and see what you think. Thank you. Hi, welcome listeners to this is a season 2 episode of Fresh from the Esky. As you know, Ben is far away over in the motherland, so we've got a co-host today, Megan Rickett, our former guest. Welcome along, Megan.
Thanks for having me, Ledge.
No, thank you for coming along. And a very special guest, the guest you actually invited. I'll let you introduce him.
The one and only Joel. I got really
Off to
nervous.
a great start as co-host already, Megan.
Good,
Killing
right.
it.
I just
Really
call him
killing
Oysters or Jolie, but it's Joel Kilpatrick.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah,
My name's Joel, yes.
You were probably slurring it a little yourself last night from what I've heard.
Mate, yeah, apparently there's a few photos getting around a group chat there somewhere.
And the chosen beer was Victorian Bitter, I believe.
Victorian Bitter to start the day, and
It is your favourite beer,
ended
isn't
up on the watermelon cruises by the end of the night.
Yeah, that is a big thing,
So
isn't it?
rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big day.
That's what the boys tend to do these days. I've
Yeah.
been to them a couple of times at the Oxford, and what is it they have there? They're French kisses or gypsy kisses
Gypsy
or
kisses.
something like that.
French kisses.
French kisses, yeah.
Yeah, all right, that came out wrong, didn't it? Yeah.
That too.
Yeah. Though some of the staff... No, we won't.
Oh,
All right, Joel, are you happy to have a beer? Because we usually do that.
yeah, let's have a beer. I'm keen.
All right, now, I reckon this might... You did work in WA, is that...
Oh, it's not an
It's
EMU export,
EMU.
is it?
It
Is
is
it
actually,
EMU?
yeah. It is. Actually, it is EMU export. I haven't had one for many, many years because when I was a young fella in Victoria, you wouldn't be aware of it. They used to have a beer strike every Christmas.
Yeah.
So Carlton United go on strike, so we had to import beer in from over the border. They used to get from WA and South Australia, and EMU export was one of the ones. I thought it was crap.
Yeah.
But some people reckon it's good beer. Have you ever tried it?
Haven't tried it in a few years.
All right,
To be
well,
fair.
we'll try it and
I've
see.
had a few.
This will be great for a hangover, I reckon.
Yeah, it'll be wonderful, I think.
I think it could be worse things.
Hair of the Dog's great.
Yeah, but like there's still worse things.
Yeah.
Like watermelon cruises.
Oh, mate, I won't even look at watermelon cruises ever again.
Oh, in cans.
Yeah, everything's in That's it.
And we've even got a stuffed cooler here for you.
If you need a stubby cooler, you're drinking it.
It's not going to be great.
I had half.
You're going to struggle to enjoy that.
Hey?
I think.
Oh, yeah?
I had half a protein shake on the way over.
Yeah, that's not going to go well either.
Probably ideal to have a beer chaser on. As a beer, I don't think it's improved a lot.
No, it hasn't.
It's not the worst thing I've drank.
No, it wouldn't be the
Beer-wise.
worst, but...
It's very Carlton drafty.
See, I like
oh no,
Carlton Draft.
Carlton Draft isn't bad beer. This is...
Maybe my taste buds are all gone.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
you.
know.
Think you
Actually, it's
died
not
last
as
night.
bad as I thought. I was going to say it's a bit more like a 4X bitter or something.
No, bitters are delicious.
No.
They've changed it to actually 4X bitter. It used to taste a lot worse than that. It used to smell and everything when I first come up here.
It's a bad time. Anything heavy is a bad time.
Actually, is this heavy
Agree.
beer?
Yeah.
EMU export? It is? Oh,
Or is the export the medium?
1.2.
I don't think it'll get into the threes on the Untapped app. It'll be maybe a high 2.
A high 2.
Anyway, that's enough of the beer. What about Joel Kilpatrick? What's his story?
What do you want to know?
Actually, I don't even know. How old are you, Joel?
38. Just turned 38.
So is your sister younger or older?
I've got an older sister, Susan, and a younger sister, Angie, who's about 7 years younger than me.
Because I remember when I was coaching, it must have been your old man used to coach down at Yeppoon, and there was a girl.
Yeah, that was my older sister, Susan, yeah.
Was it?
Yep.
I must have been who was I coaching? It must have been before my kids were playing then, because Daniel's 36, I think. Yeah. So what? Sorry, you're 38.
Yeah, I'm 38. Yeah.
I could never work out if you play older than you are or not. But you probably do play to your age
Play
then,
to my
probably.
age,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Standard full forward.
Yeah.
Always from Yeppoon, like.
No. So my family's from Rocky now, I guess.
Yeah, because you were actually, let's say, third generation Glenmore Bull, really, aren't you? Like,
yeah.
your grandfather
kind
was
of,
quite involved at the club. I don't know. if
Yeah,
you
so he was around right at the start.
Yep.
So I've heard all the stories about putting teams together to play against the army when the army was in town and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and
that's how they
stealing
got it all-
toilets from other grounds and all that
and
stuff.
all that stuff. But yeah, no, my mum's actually from a town out north of Clark-Alden called Aramac,
Oh yeah, I know.
and my dad's from Melbourne, and they met in Rocky, and that's how I ended up here.
Oh, your dad's from Melbourne.
My dad's from Melbourne, born in Footscray.
Oh right, yeah. So that's where the
Yeah.
football.
Yeah, so my nana and pop lived in Melbourne until only 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
thought
we back
you were
in there.
locals and
Yeah, and I'm born in Albury, so just up the river.
Albury. Yes, I know Albury. Yeah, I'm from Wangaratta myself, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. No wonder. So the old man played footy down there. did
He played a bit. So he played a bit for Laverton in up in New South Wales there.
Yep.
And he did a train and trial for Collingwood back in the day.
Really?
Yeah.
That
And
explains a lot.
couple of reasons why he didn't get through. He wouldn't go to training, and they wanted him to give up the durries.
Yeah, I heard.
He wouldn't give up the smokes, and Laverton were paying better money to play football than Collingwood and Country League.
Is that Laverton or Lavington?
Lavington.
Near Auburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a few stories. Even the people up here say, as good as he was probably could have been better. He was
Oh, the amount of
a
stories.
prodigious talent, apparently.
The stories I've heard about him turning up at quarter time with his boots and a ciggy hanging out of his mouth and a cup of tea, and if you had to put some effort in, you might have been pretty good.
He was a left footer, I heard too.
Yeah, ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous.
So,
Yourself?
yeah,
I haven't seen you
pretty
get a kick.
ambidextrous.
So.
I played cricket both sides, and
Can you really?
My left foot's not great kicking footies, but yeah,
So you are a right footer.
yeah, I am a right
Naturally.
footer. Yeah,
Because I remember hearing that, the story about your old man kicking 10 or something.
yeah.
I think they tell that one. I don't know if he tells it probably as well. Probably doesn't.
There's a story about him telling me that it's not 10.
Oh, it's 11, is it?
When I kick
Oh, that's
2
right.
years ago against Brothers, I kicked 9 goals, and I come off. I said, "What do you think of that?" He said, "Well, it's not 10, is it, mate?"
No, that's
Oh,
right.
okay.
It's not, I
No worries,
suppose.
Dad.
So-
Yeah.
Thanks, mate.
So what age did you arrive in Rocky then?
So we rolled into Yeppoon straight from Albury when I was about 5. That's where I started playing football. And then we rolled back out of Yeppoon. We sold a house in Yeppoon in, what was that, 96-ish. So as I went to high school, we went back to Albury for a little while. Played a bit of footy down there again.
Yeah, righto. Yeah,
And
that's
then back to
yep.
Rocky in 97. to
Oh,
finish
right,
off
eh?
school. Yeah.
Yeah, so I must have been early 90s. I must have been coaching against, well, not, it was junior footy, so it's not
Yeah.
against, it's just,
Yeah, no.
it must have been when those Payne boys and that were playing, it must have been.
Yeah, I've still got a lot of memories of coming up and playing at Stanley Park, and I remember Turtle from back then, and
Everyone remembers Turtle.
because we were always
Yes.
because obviously Ross and Dad were mates, so we were always
Yeah.
hanging around each other at footy, and I played for Yeppoon, and he played for Glenmore, and Jason Dunnett as well.
Holy
So
That's
Daryl's-
right. And Turtle's older brother?
No, I don't remember much of him.
I remember him playing too. He's an older brother. I
Yeah,
think.
I think Zane just. I've only,
Zane,
I've only
that's
got
right. Zane, that's right.
memories of Zane from basketball and drinking while Turtle was playing. That's the only time I've seen Zane at the park.
Actually, I haven't seen that. I think he even may have played a bit of reserve grade footy
did a little
with
bit.
us later on, I
I
think
think
too.
he dabbled.
Dabbled.
Yeah,
That's the
I
word,
think that's the
dabbled,
word. He dabbled.
So you played with Lavington down there?
no,
too?
I played for Xavier College team, and then Rue Tigers. Yep.
Richmond Tigers
Yeah.
colours. Yeah.
Yep, so I only played a few games for them. We were down back there for probably best part of 9-10 months or something.
Yeah. And what was that for? Sorry, to finish off you.
So Dad got a job back down there.
Oh,
so
right.
we moved back down there with him, and then he got a job back in Rocky because he couldn't get a job up here.
So prefers Rocky, obviously. he
Yeah,
does, or-
yeah. Oh, this is
And plus your grandparents
well.
were up here.
Pop wasn't here at that time. He was just retired, so him and Nana were still in Melbourne. So yeah, but this is always home for my mum and.
So
fairly
pretty
close to
transient, really.
Yeah.
Up and around. And,
Oh, until the last 20 years, and I've been.
yeah,
just in
well,
Rocky,
you've been.
You know.
Well, no, you've worked in
I've worked
WA.
away, yeah.
Yeah, didn't you? Like you were working a big roster over
Yeah, fly in, fly out. I was doing 28 and 7.
28 and 7.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Really?
2 years, yeah.
We're not allowed to do anything like that in Queensland coal mines. It's 28. How many days off do you get in 28 days?
One in the middle. Yeah, so you work 13, have a day off, work 13, fly home on your last day.
Gee. Where was that? Sorry, I'm doing...
So that was it's a place called Cape Lambert, so it's a Rio Tinto iron ore port, about an hour and a half north of Karratha, so pretty much straight across from us.
And you're a HV electrician, is that right?
Lucky, yeah.
12-hour days?
16, 18, most days. Yeah, so I was part of a commissioning crew, so we came through like sort of after the construction, starting like commissioning and getting things up and running, and part of our KPIs was to meet certain dates for the plant. So first ore on the stockpile, first ore on the boat, all that sort of stuff. So if we needed to get there, we needed to get there, and that's how we worked.
That's huge hours, isn't it?
Yeah.
Without being looking into too much, you must get paid well to do. You'd want to get paid well.
Yeah, the money was there, and that's why you're there. But
that's a lot of hours.
Yeah, I'd come home and Katina can vouch for me. I'd come home the first 2 days, and my days off, I'd just sleep.
And then you'd have 7 off, so you'd have 2 you'd be sleeping for.
Yep.
4 you'd be home, and then they'd be preparing to go back again.
And then 1's travelling. Yeah.
Gee.
That sounds rough.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, we used to talk about the emotional roller coaster that you go through, where you're sad going back to work, and then in the middle you sort of have this realisation that you're just here to just do the job and get through it, and those middle 2 weeks are sort of pretty good, and then you get that exciting, really draggy last week, and then you're on the plane home, and then as soon as you land, you're like, oh fuck, I've got to go back.
Yeah. That's similar to us on a 7 days out there. I can only imagine 28. I don't think I could do that.
I couldn't do it now. I didn't have kids. Like, I was married, but I didn't have some, it was pretty tedious.
And I suppose it was a means to an end at the time. Like, you weren't planning on staying there for 20 years, I presume.
I set out with a 12-month plan to go there and make some money, and I ended up there for the best part of 2 years. I wanted to finish the project off, and then I didn't want to leave there before I got another job as well, so I just kept going back. And Stanwell's recruitment, about 6 months before I left there, I started getting recruited by Stanwell, and it took that long to get on and do medicals and stuff like that, so they had to try and fit it all into my roster.
I suppose that would be part of it, though, being involved from the commissioning stage to getting it up and running. It would be a bit of a pride in being involved in it and wanting to see it through to the end as well.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. And like once you hit those milestones, it's really it's a really good feeling. You feel like you've achieved something, even though you're just making money for someone else at the end of the day. But it's still an achievement. It's good.
Oh, definitely.
And there's definitely a lot of interesting stuff that goes with that as well. So you end up like a lot of that commissioning stuff that we did, you find a lot of the first faults, and one of my favourite ones to tell people about was, so you've seen a big ship loader.
Yep.
So basically a conveyor goes up onto a tripper, goes out over a ship. So the first one we commissioned of them, we set the brakes on the electric motors wrong, but we didn't set them. They spec'd them wrong, and then we set them to what they should be, and they reacted wrong. So instead of pulling up in 4 metres where it should pull up, it pulled up in 40 centimetres. So the guy loading the ship was travelling in it. First time he hit the brakes, threw him across the room into the wall and knocked him out.
Yeah.
And then, those sorts of things. It wasn't fun for him, but
no, it wouldn't be.
Interesting for us.
Gee, I imagine if that happened these days, that the site would be shut down for 3 weeks while there's an investigation into what happened and that.
Yeah.
And everyone would be panicking he's going to sue us for something, and which he may have done.
Really, it's still the wild, wild west, mate, over there.
Yeah, things have changed a lot in the time. I think even over here things have changed a lot. I've only been in them at that undisclosed mine site for 10 years, and I can't believe how much things have changed here.
Yeah.
We've jumped ahead a bit anyway, so
skipped.
You did your school in Yeppoon?
Yeah, so I went to Tarangabar State School. I started off at Yeppoon State, and then I ended up at Tarangabar State School. Finished up there, obviously, and I went down to Xavier College in Albury, and then I came back and finished my schooling at the grammar.
Yeah, the Yeppoon education to a Rocky education.
Yeah. No. Terrible.
But grammar.
Yeah.
What's
we don't like.
I just prefer public schools, personally. Not that I had a choice, but...
No, all my kids are publicly educated.
They turned out all right.
Well, I just like the idea of a public school myself. I don't know, but I don't know. Some people feel a private education's better. I don't know if it is, though, is it? It's not like you don't misbehave and get up to just as much shenanigans.
I do think like the quality of the schooling is right up there, and especially now at the grammar. Like you look at the grammar and the facilities they have for their students. Like if your kid's half good at any football or anything like that, that's where they need to go. And if cluey.
It's a good feeder opportunity,
Now,
I guess, yeah.
Not poo-pooing it, like Emmaus is a good school as well. My wife went to Emmaus, both her brother and sister went to Emmaus, and they're doctors and engineers and whatever else, and
Why would there be more opportunity at a private school? Are there better teachers?
more opportunity.
Yeah.
So more opportunity to learn because the teachers actually feel like the people that are there are actually learning. They're not just going to school because they have to go to school. A lot of the time when you get the kids that go to the grammar, they're under a lot of pressure to actually perform because they're getting costing them a lot of money to go there. They're not just getting pushed out the door. And
Some of them are just there because they want them out of home, aren't they, though?
Oh, yeah. But then you get the borders as well, which brings a whole different country feel to it.
Yeah.
But those kids are very driven too, because mum and dad have put them there. They want them to do good, and they want them to do their work. And there's obviously repercussions if that doesn't happen for them. So, yeah, I felt it was an interesting sort of a setup. But now with their facilities are state of the art, like you can't compare them to any other school in Rocky.
It's
a huge campus now.
The grammar.
It's huge. They've got like this big facility. There's like a big facility now that like they've got two. I think they got those big ass fans. They're literally called that. I think they've got indoor sports centre where there's two of them in that, and then they still have all the other facilities that they had prior to that being built. So I know that's an option for people to train in if they wanted to hire it out. Because I know they do hire it out. But yeah, it is. I think from a sporting perspective, like sort of St Brendan's and all that, they've got connections with people who.
Yeah, so Brendan's definitely.
So Brendan's obviously is a feeder
nursery,
for league, and Grammar's a major union kind of aspect as well. I guess if you do have someone like a kid who could definitely try and get a scholarship or something like that, I think that's the upside that a private school can provide, I guess.
I suppose, yeah. I did see something about some Sydney private school, $45,000 a year for tuition now. Like, I'd want something.
That's where my nephews are going, so that's Joey's.
You want to make sure they bloody apply themselves.
My brother-in-law went to Joey's. His theory on that is worth the money because of the contacts. He said every job he's ever got outside of, since he's come out of school, has been because of the Old Boys Club. That's how he got his start. I shouldn't say every job he's ever got. He's obviously very good at what he does now, but that's how he got his start. And then you see his group of friends, and they've all done very, very well for themselves. And when you speak to them, then they're no brighter than you or I. Like they've just had
network.
A lot of opportunities. But they were talking about boarding their kids.
Actually, that might have been boarded too. I presume for 45 you'd think it'd nearly be boarding
kid,
as well, wouldn't it? Because, I mean, that's a lot of money.
But 2 kids, $100K a year.
Oh, my
That's right,
days.
yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if I'll be copping up that sort of money for my kids, but I think they'll excel wherever they go.
So, with your private school education, you went and became a tradesman anyway?
No, not really. No.
Oh, you don't consider HV a trade?
No.
But better than a tradesman?
No, I didn't start my apprenticeship till I was 24.
Oh, didn't you?
No, so I fluffed around. So I worked at the West Coast Trucks, it used to be back then, and it's now Brown and Hurley or whatever it is now out there. For
as sales or mechanic?
Just like I did a traineeship in the store out there, and then I went up and did parts sales. And then I left there and went back to Melbourne for a little while, for about 6 months. And when I came back from Melbourne, I worked at the youth hostel, picking up backpackers and dropping them off to the airport and the bus stop and all that sort of stuff, and cleaning rooms. And yeah, after that, I went.
So your education was really being put to use at this stage in life.
Then the next step was actually grammar school related. So one of my friends that I went to grammar with, his dad was actually one of the big bosses of the Department of Primary Industries.
Oh, yeah,
and he got me a gig out there in the bull breeding program.
Yep.
Not careful. So my job was to fill up all the sperm canisters with liquid nitrogen.
Yep.
Not with semen, with liquid nitrogen. There you go. Disgusting.
I love how you just justify that straight away.
Oh, mate, the amount of people I've told that I did that job, and they're like, "What? Looking after bull sperm?"
Actually, we used to use a lot of liquid nitrogen when I worked out a machine shop in town here, and we used to get them containers, canisters from there, and that. Anyway, they made us eventually buy our own canister because apparently they were we were getting canisters, sending them back, and they were refilling with the bull sperm and that, and apparently somehow being in a work environment we'd infected the canister, and they were getting killing all the sperm off, like making them infertile and all that. So they said, "No, you've got to purchase your own and get it filled up all the time." Because it's quite useful.
One of the girls that played for us back in the day, I think the second American that ever played for us, Danny. That's what she did. She was the one that was taking care of
breeding services.
Yeah, she was part of the breeding services.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, so once I did that, then I ventured off to WA for the first time. So I went to Dampier, which is near Karratha. Worked at a gas plant there, doing they were building a new, they call them trains, so the big super trains.
Yep.
So I worked there for nearly 12 months.
So you still haven't got a trade at this
Still haven't got a
time?
trade at that time.
Yep.
My mum's husband actually got me a gig over there. So
Yep.
it was alright, it was 3-in-1, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, lived in Point Sampson, which is one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Is that on the coast?
It's it's like a fishing port right just north of Karratha there. It's
Oh,
amazing.
yep.
Yeah, lived there with mum and her husband and my stepbrother. No, it was a really good time. Like a year over there was really cool, interesting, interesting work. Pretty dangerous place, but pretty interesting. And then, lucky enough to score on my days off, I went and did an interview with Ergon. Actually, I applied for about 40 diesel fitter jobs because I wanted to be a diesel fitter. That was back in my mind, and I applied for one electrical job, and I got the Ergon one.
There you go.
And that was a pretty big turning point, I think, for me. Yeah.
What a place.
Yeah.
It's a very sought after trade, actually, too, isn't it? With Ergon. I mean, I know there's different
They were saying
routes to it. There's linesmen and all that you can go to.
Oh yeah, for sure. So the year we applied for it, so myself, Sam, and Tim got on. 3 of us got on. There was actually, they said something around the mark of 2,000 applicants for those jobs. So absolutely, you just ask and you wait through it. Whoever gets it, just ask through it. Like, you've got no qualifications. No one's got the quals. So once you get in there, you sort of go into either substations, test section, and then you can move into your sort of like. I did months with customer service, going out and fitting smart meters, or going to shocks and tingles, those sorts of things, line incidents. You know, some good ones, like some just go out and replace a meter, and others where a truck's backed into a pole or whatever, and the line's on the roof, and you just got to pull fuses and stuff. So, bit of a variance of stuff there to do.
Yep.
They sent us out with household electricians as well as free labour.
Oh yeah, righto. As part of your learning of your trade.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you come out with the ticket, you can do that stuff. So you need to have been out there and done it. That was a real eye opener for me to realise how good working at Ergon is. Climbing through someone's ceiling in the range on, 40-degree day. No, that's not for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I finished my apprenticeship there, and I basically stayed for about 12 months and whipped off to WA.
Who'd you go there with? Not with Ergon, like that's a separate.
To Western Australia.
Yeah.
So I was working for a company called Southern Cross Electrical Engineering, and we were basically it was like a skilled sort of contract. So they had the contract for the main work, and they asked them to put some guys on. So I ended up working for Ski, but actually contracted to Sinclair Knight and Mertz, which was the principal contractor basically.
Righto. So you got that here, like that. You applied for that job over here.
Yeah. So I'm lucky enough that it wasn't any of my doing that I got it. I'm lucky enough that my mum's husband was the big boss over there at the time.
These contacts, isn't it?
Networking.
Networking, yeah.
And he rang me up and he said, hey, if you're looking for a change, we're looking for commissioning guys with high voltage experience, and they're pretty hard to come by. Do you want to come have a look? Yeah, for sure.
Mm. So the trade's been great for you.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's been an eye opener, but it's been
otherwise you would have been still milking bulls or something.
Yeah. Oh, who knows, mate? Like, honestly, I can put where I'm at now back to that one turning point, that phone call saying, "Hey, you got this apprenticeship," and give you something to focus on.
So, had you played footy much?
No. So I stopped playing when I was about 14 when we came back from Victoria. So basically, once I left Albury, I just gave footy up and I started playing soccer because all my friends up here were playing soccer, and I did pretty well at soccer because I was goalkeeper, so I could kick it 50, 60 metres and no one else could kick it as far as me, and I could catch as well.
I
was probably regretful that I went into soccer. Like, I love my footy now, and I missed out on sort of, those years of 15, 16, 17 where your body's still in really good nick and you got the skills and and you can still run your guts out. But I sort of didn't come back to footy till I think I was like 20, 21.
Oh,
might have been 21. 2008, I played my first game for Glenmore.
2008.
Yeah, so what does that make? That would have been 20.
Oh, yeah, 14.
I would have been 24, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so coming into your prime, actually, but you hadn't played.
No, I hadn't played.
Physically, would you say that's your prime? 24?
Yeah,
26?
25.
I wasn't even playing Aussie Reels when I was 24.
No, but as an athlete.
As an athlete.
I believe at any sport, your prime somewhere between 24, 28 when you have the knowledge, the skills, and you still got the
I was early 30s,
physical attributes.
I'm a late bloomer, I would probably say, to to sport when it comes to like being actually slightly competitive at it. Like there's a line where you play it socially and then you can think, actually I might be pretty handy at this, or I could be at the top level of my competition. And I don't think I hit that until I was at least maybe probably 27ish, 28ish.
I suppose actually probably the physical thing has moved further because people train differently and not harder but smarter, I think now. Like I would have AFL football or VFL footballers used to be retired about 33 or 4. Now they're playing till 38, and things like that. And some of them are like Pendlebury and guys like that. They're still in their prime.
They're still fit as
It might be different for girls actually, only because they can start playing physical sport at such a younger age in comparison to we weren't able to play any contact sport until we're way into our going towards mid-20s before it was really able to be playing it from a high school age and everything like that. That's why I feel like I'm a bit of a late bloomer when it comes to sport with physical contact or any sport. Were you always at Frenchie? Were you at Nirimba?
For soccer?
Yeah.
Berska.
True.
So I played for Berska till like 2004 or something. And then after a couple of Wesley Halls,
here we go.
We ducked over to Frenchville, and I think I played my first game for Frenchville in like 2017 or something in the 3rd grade thing. So
it was all just a social thing by then.
Yeah, it was.
Dipter is so
Wesley,
social.
That's that.
So what we did.
That's their FA Cup, isn't it? Is it the knockout?
The Wesley Hall's the actual
local.
Like it's our local league.
It's the premiership.
Yep. But the one I won in 2017, they call it the Community Cup. And one of my mates I used to play soccer with when we were a lot younger, he put together a team, and I think it's basically a older person's 3rd grade. And this team he put together was majority of guys that played 1st grade the year before. And we were absolutely pummeling everyone. It was lots of fun.
No, you probably didn't play that grade the following year. They may just go up a grade, or you just quit.
No, we just quit. That was it. That was it. That was enough. Yeah. So 2008, I think I moved in with Josh Billing.
Oh yeah, Josh. Yeah.
And we were just out the back having a kick one day because he's a South Australian boy, and he said we should go out and play some footy. Fucking righto. We went down and trained.
Once again, you've got connections with the Glenmore Bulls, of course.
Well, I asked Dad. I said, "Who should I go play for?" Because at the time, I think Darryl had just moved back over to Panthers, and he said, "No, go play for Wandle, mate. Don't go to Panthers."
No,
I was like, I did have thoughts of going back to Yeppoon because Yeppoon Junior and whatever else, and I was like, couldn't be bothered driving down the highway every 2 days a week going to go train. So
that was a good decision for you.
Very good decision, mate. So rolled into Wandle, and I think who was coaching then? Woozy, I think.
Yeah, Dean Woosman would have been about then. Yeah.
So rolled in there, started playing a bit of 1st grade, and on the wing. Couldn't believe it.
Wow, are you serious?
All 65.
We were slow.
All 65 kilos of me back then.
Oh my days.
Lighting up the wing.
I don't think I've ever seen you play outside of the forward line.
No, don't. That's why.
That's why.
So when did all the knee injuries start?
Was 2009.
Was it?
Yep. So I did.
I can't remember the 65 kilogram.
No.
I must have been taking too much notice that year.
So 2009 I got into the gym a bit. And I put in a fair bit of weight, a fair bit of size. And Boyne Island I went to stop as I was handballing, and I put my foot in a crack in the centre of the ground, and my foot slipped forward, and my knee locked out.
Yep.
And I pulled my whole knee through the front, and I actually there was a bit of a blue after because I just went down like a sack. I'd never done an injury before in my life. And old mate, I can't remember his name, from Boyne actually came back and spat at me.
Oh, that'd be what?
He said I didn't even, because he thought I'd gone down saying I got hit late or something. He's like, I didn't even have to touch you, mate, and spat at me. And I was like, bro, I'm in so much pain, I don't even give a fuck. Like, fuck off.
Maybe straight in the cricket pitch there too, and is it the same field we play on now?
Yeah, it's a shocker, that cricket pitch.
So that was it for that right knee, it was gone. And then 2012 I did my left one.
Same way?
No, different way. I was actually doing my capstone at TAFE. And I squatted down to
what's that? Sorry.
Capstone's what you do at the end of your apprenticeship. That's your sign off testing.
Oh right, yep.
I squatted down to test an oven, and I went to stand back up, and my knee went crunch and locked out. Ambulance came because I have to send you in an ambulance because it's a work injury.
Yep.
Workers' comp though. At
workers' comp. And what I'd done is I'd torn the middle of my meniscus up into what they call it a bucket tear. So the meniscus had come up and looks like a bucket, right? And that was getting caught in the joint. So when I went and saw the surgeon and whatever else, I said, why did this happen? Like, I'm not overweight or anything. And he said, Joel, you've done your right knee. You haven't had it fixed again.
Yep. So you're
you're putting all your weight on your left knee, and you've destroyed your left one. So
Yeah.
he's like, well, let's do both. Well, no, thanks. We'll just do one.
Oh.
And that was it. For me, I didn't play again until 2011. I played a little bit.
You only have wall ovens in the house now? Or what?
Yeah. That's why. 2011, I played a little bit. 12 and 13, a little bit again. And then 14, obviously, premiership year. That's when I was in Western Australia. 13, 14 for most of that. But it was good. I came to footy nearly every time I came home. It was good.
Yeah,
Good way to catch up with everyone, just have a bit of a yarn and
I remember seeing you around a fair bit.
sort of see everyone in the same place there.
Yep.
And came back to the club in 2015 when I came back to Stanwell, and just been mucking around since then. Really.
Rest is history.
Yeah.
And now you're coaching.
Yeah, coaching the women's again this year.
And how's that going?
Good. I love it.
Did you coach our reserve?
No, this is my first coaching gig.
This is your first coaching
straight into
gig?
women's football. Yep.
Yeah. Different?
Eye opener. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like angels.
Absolute eye opener, mate. Yeah.
Why? What is the difference? Because I mean,
I won't take.
I know you played a bit of
just sitting.
Yeah, no. So I didn't at the start. I didn't really have an interest in doing it. To be honest, I pretty much talked into it, and I thought, as a personal development thing for me, like being a supervisor and whatever else at work, I'm good at talking to a lot of guys. And
I find you a bit of a leader at the footy club. Like, especially when I've seen you play reserves, you're a guy that talks and
and
that way.
I guess I saw it as a bit of like I said, personal development for me, a bit of an opportunity to grow and step outside my comfort zone. A couple of things that I wanted to achieve from it as well. So the first one was obviously my goal last year, and I sort of got a bit snuffed out on it as the year went on, but just to try and bring the actual standard of football up a little bit. Like, I know we've got a really high quality, we have for the last 10 years had really high quality teams, but the end goal is to see them playing a different type of football. It's not just the kick and hope football, and get a bit of structure to it. You saw Yeppoon do that in the women's last year with their zoning last year. Wallen came in, changed their zone, set them up, and they went from not very, they weren't much to actually a really high quality team. Obviously they did some recruiting as well, but
Yeah, you got to give it to that Wallen guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he I don't know what he got as a senior coach, but he of the men's, and then he goes across, and I think that was only his second year of coaching the women.
it was his first year, I think.
First year, was it?
Was it second? Was it
Yeah.
first?
So the first year, you could tell. I think the first half of the season, they were just kind of working out what would work, and then as the season progressed towards the end, you can tell they're going to be something to reckon with. And then this, I think they were on their way up, and then I think he took over, and then he had a season against, and we beat them in the grand final.
Yeah.
And then you can tell, like, their pre-season was going to be vicious
They're
because they obviously
theatre,
they
bring
were
a
just
professional
they were
attitude.
just super hungry. Like if there was another quarter of a game in that grand final against us, I reckon they might have nearly had us.
Yeah.
Because we were running out of legs.
Yeah.
I know I was shot. I was done last quarter of that game. But yeah, what he's done with that club as a men and women's coach.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff I've heard too, like he's taken a fair bit of the fun out of it for them, and that's one thing I'm really careful of not doing. Is I want girls to come and have fun, enjoy being at footy, because that's what I like. I like training.
That's right. Just
Footy training I genuinely preferred footy training to actually playing games of football.
yeah. I think I found that's when I was ready to quit
Yeah.
playing. Is when I stopped enjoying training. I used to love going to train.
Yeah.
I used to get many more touches at training than ever got in a game.
Absolutely,
You know?
Get a heap of snags.
But I think that's about the time when you think, well, maybe I'm not enjoying this as much. But
No, well, I was still enjoying it. I was still enjoying playing, but I did my left knee again in the Boyne Island preliminary final the year we made the granny, whatever that was, 2021. So that ruled me out and I was done.
yep.
And then I went to the physio and they wanted to chop it open again. So basically I've just, all my meniscus that I'd sewed and repaired, it's all just came out the side. So the doctor wanted to trim it up, and my wife's sister is like a physio doctor, whatever. Anyway, she looks after the Wallaroos, so she knows her shit, and she said, Joel, if you're not going to play footy again, you won't have to have surgery. You can just do some physio work, but you need to tell yourself that you can't do the contact stuff anymore.
Yeah. So
that's what I did.
yeah. So you can play sport as like you could go and play tennis, could you? Or?
Yeah, I played a bit of tennis, and I played
It's
again.
just you can't
I played against Gladstone last year, filled in
Yeah.
for Higo. Like I just played a game, but I didn't feel. You don't feel right out there.
Yeah.
You're always worried about it. You can't ever be yourself again. Yeah.
So the coaching's a good way of continuing your...
Yeah, mate. Yeah, absolutely. So, well, the other thing I get out of it is I get to go and have a kick as well, and
Yeah.
that's like I love to join in the drills, and and it's good for them I think as well to see like me drop a mark or whatever and realise that everyone's making a mistake. Even the coach looks like an idiot sometimes, So, but yeah, strategically I've got a little bit to learn coaching wise. The girls were really good last year. It was a really tough year. A lot of injuries. Like that was the most injuries I've ever seen a team copping ever. There was at one stage there I was trying to pick a team and I had 14 girls on my injured list. 14 that probably would have been starting. And, makes it pretty hard to win a game.
And near the end of the season, we had a few surprises with some little ones on the way. So
Yes. Well, that's always going to be
definitely not a job that I would. Because I've been asked if I would ever coach once I stopped playing, would I ever coach? And I don't think I could. I could probably be an assistant, but I don't think I could be a head coach. I could be an assistant or like someone in the coaching staff, but I would rather umpire Aussie rules than go into a head coach position.
Are there any women coaches in our league, in the women's football?
Tamara Creamer's one of the coaching staff for the women.
Yeah.
I believe she might be one of the assistants, but I know they've got a huge coaching sort of set up.
Because that eventually, I presume, that's what will happen. They'll have women coaching, and women, I suppose, women can coach the men. Actually, I suppose, or have to.
I wouldn't like.
It's already happened at North Melbourne.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having a women's coach, but I'm old school. Like,
So you prefer?
I prefer being coached like any other player, regardless of gender.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty old school when it comes to being coached. You be forceful with me, and I get it. And I only take it if you're going to be harsh to me. It's only because you care.
Yeah.
Not because you think I'm a dickhead, which is probably 80% of the time of training. But
I can't see that being an issue with a women's coach. Women can be very bitchy.
what do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I can't see how that. I mean, look at girls at school. They're the nastiest thing. So I don't think a woman coach would have any trouble being hard on other women, would they?
It's just I think it just open communication. I think in any sport and any relationship between a coach and a player needs to be just as is and be professional as well.
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of hard because got to admit, being female, we can be a bit high, like up and down.
Emotional.
You don't in the nicest way possible, Ledge. But it's like you don't know. Joel wouldn't know what he was coming into every training because like randomly we'd start talking about cycles or stuff like that, and he's like, he just
I've had to walk away a few times.
To walk away. But it is a task for a bloke to come in to never have to coach a women's side or understand like what a dynamic of a women's team is.
I can imagine it must be different. It must be.
Again, I probably wouldn't want to coach a women's side. I'd rather coach them. If I was going to coach, it'd be a men's side versus a women's side.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I actually prefer coaching the women.
Do you?
I reckon I would prefer to coach women than men because there's a real difference in culture there too. Like the ones that do come to training all the time, they're actually there to train, not just for the beers or whatever. So a lot of guys at the footy club hang around the footy club because that's their excuse to go have a beer on the Saturday, and they might play a game of resis here and there. Whereas the women's is completely different. They're there. They want to play. They want to improve.
Oh, I do think the women. I think when we had you on, Megan, I wasn't against it. I just thought, really, we have enough dramas at a footy club as it is without worrying about getting a bunch of women. But they've been a credit to themselves and the club. It really, I think they've actually shown some of probably our reserve grade fringe players that this is what you should be doing. You don't just, like you say, we've always had guys that just turn up on a Saturday expecting a game.
Yeah.
Might turn up one in 4 Saturdays thinking, oh, well, I'll get a game.
Yeah.
No, you'd like to get it to a stage where, no, you won't, mate, if you come to train them. But, of course, because you're fielding 2 sides, 40-odd players, quite often they do get a game because there's no one else to play.
Or if you're 17, you might get 2 games.
That's right, yeah.
Back to back.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's even challenging for me with one team. And most of the year last year, we played with 16 or 17 players. We didn't, we had 1 or 2 on the bench max.
Yeah.
And then some weeks I had 5.
Yeah.
So you just didn't know what you're up against. And some girls, like, obviously we got a lot of police officers, ambos, and they're all on different shift rosters and whatever else. It's pretty challenging to try and juggle that.
Yeah. So where do you take your coaching from? Who have you had as a coach that you think, well, I'll take that?
Woozy is probably one of the best AFL coaches I've ever had.
Really? Yeah.
But there's a guy that used to coach me at soccer called Brad Smith, and he was always...
Brad, yeah.
Yeah, you know Brad?
Yeah, Timmy Grantel and him used to play mates, yeah.
So he was always very straightforward, no bullshit. He would tell you if you weren't going to play this weekend, he'd just tell you. Like, if you weren't doing enough, he'd say, "Look, mate, you got one more game." But the training sessions were fun. They were always different, and they were always quick and hard. And I think that's the key for me. That's what I like about footy. I like going there, having a quick, hard training session, get out again, go home, see your kids or whatever, but you've done your work. Yeah.
I think that's, and I presume even in, I suppose it's different in AFL levels, but you've got to make it enjoyable, otherwise people don't want to do it. Or, I mean, I suppose in that level they're getting paid so much money, but by the same token, they're not going to get out of it what they should if they're not enjoying it either.
No, that's right.
You wouldn't want to stay anyway. You'd probably want to go somewhere else.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Let's ride the season out and then see what your other options are.
And in saying that too, like coming up with new drills and that sort of thing to try and keep it fresh, because you don't want to turn up and just do the same thing every week over and over and over again.
What's wrong with circle work?
Yeah,
circle work. I'm so glad. Fortunately, I think only this year is probably the first time we would have had the opportunity to do circle work, but sometimes never had the numbers to actually do the circle work.
Really? God, I'd always look at you and I thought had good numbers. Another emu export? Another one, Megan?
Yeah, go on. Thank you kindly.
I think the numbers are pretty good for training the majority of the time. You get a bit down when you see 10 or 11 girls turn up.
We get that for 2 men's teams.
Exactly, when that's half your half your players. Yeah, and that's pretty big effort if you're getting 10 or 11 most times. It's pretty good. But it's always the same consistent ones. The other girls, the shift girls, come in and out and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but that's what your base of. Yeah. That's what you need, don't you? You need a base, and that's a good group for one team of girls. If you've got 11 that are going to be there every week, and you get another 5 or 6 that are there every second week, and it makes a big difference.
I think it made it interesting for me because I had to come up with drills because all the drills I knew were for like 30 players, from senior footy.
Yep.
And then you're like, oh, well, I can't do that full field drill where 3 people run down a wing and then 3 people run back. Cause
we're not, you've got to share the field anyway. You can't do any full field things.
Yeah, that's another challenge, but we'll work our way through that.
Yeah. What else does Joel Kilpatrick do? He plays golf.
Used to play golf.
A standard.
Tries to play golf.
Used to play golf. I've only played once last year. Sorry, twice last year. That was a lie. Twice last year. And I played once already this year, but I'm not very good at it.
You're not?
No.
Are you better when you're sober or had a few?
Neither.
Oh, it's just all round rubbish.
I just don't have the temperament for it. You got to be really patient, and I think I can play good golf for a couple of holes, and then as soon as one thing goes wrong, it's all over mentally for me, and then I just start punching durries and kicking back.
I like 4-ball Ambrose. As a girl that doesn't play and I have to ask which club I have to use, I feel like
it is the best,
yeah. I remember we used to do golf days. I think either just the girls did it or we did a whole club one. That's been quite a while, but that was a good club bonding.
Because if there's 4 is there, at least one is hits a half decent shot, so everyone goes to that.
Or we would do little games at the tee off, so it made things a bit interesting.
But it's a bit hard to play golf. I was playing Saturday morning competitions, but
so you played comp golf?
Yeah.
So what do you go round in? What do you like? So
I think my best was like 87.
You're shit. Right. God.
But my worst was like 120.
That's my average is about 110.
Yeah.
I think we're on different levels there. Yeah, I heard you were quite a good golfer, God.
I'm not good, but once I had the second girl, and Frankie's now my oldest one's getting older. I can't really warrant going to golf on Saturday in the morning, then going to footy in the afternoon, and then training twice a week, and trying to fit uni and all that sort of stuff in there as well, and work and everything else. So it's a bit hard. So I had to cut something, and that's what got cut.
Uni, sorry, did you say?
Yeah, so I'm nearly finished. So I just handed in my second last assignment. So I'm doing a grad certificate in asset maintenance management for work.
Oh, righto.
And then I just started in October. I started doing my masters in business.
So this will allow you to become a maintenance manager?
Manager, yeah.
Yep. Inside Stanwell, is that position available?
Yeah, so it's sort of just moving up the chain. So I'm not a lecky anymore. I'm a maintenance scheduler currently.
Oh, one of them, the planners.
No, not a planner, scheduler. But I've just been seconded up into my new role. It's called Critical Projects Facilitator. So basically, I'm the outage. So I run the outage and that plant.
So you organise the labour.
Yeah.
Any outside
scheduling work, all that sort of stuff.
Cranes if they're required, and all that kind of stuff.
So that's only for 4 months. So while another guy does another job. But
right in the middle of storm season.
Oh, we don't care.
You don't care?
We don't care. They won't get you anyway.
Oh, it's...
Storms
they just
don't
put
worry.
you on hold anyway.
Yeah. No, I'm not at Ergot anymore, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's right. That's right.
So we just have one major shutdown a year, and that's what I look after.
Yeah, so Stanwell, it's going ahead. Is it got upgrades in the works or something, did I hear, or something? No? Or is it going to shut down?
We will be shutting down eventually. I just got a medal for activity. I'm a white chef for talking shit. So we've just been handed out a $63 billion green energy plan. The Queensland government came out and actually Anastasia came to work and rolled it out, which includes like a couple of different solar farms, wind farms, pumped hydros, so big dams with turbines in them, and a couple of big battery banks. So we're getting a big Tesla battery bank at Stanwell and at our sister station at Tarong in Kingaroy.
So you won't need much coal.
Well, we'll be pushing that way, yeah. So the other part of it, what they're doing is they're doing a hydrogen plant in Gladstone, which has got Stanwell's fingerprints all over it. And we're also doing a what they call it, Faith. It's called. So it's basically everything they've done in the green energy phase has been at like a really small household level. So they're putting in a big facility out at Stanwell. Potentially, it's still on the draw card, but to actually run these things at a larger scale to see that they're actually going to be viable. So almost a viability study.
Right. So in your capacity as a HV electrician, what do you think of green energy? Solar farms? I mean, really? Aren't they rubbish?
No.
I mean, solar on my house, all right, but solar, hundreds of acres of good farming property have got solar panels on them that we can't recycle and we've got to get rid of and have a lifetime of about 10 years.
So I think the key is versatility. So what Stanwell's done, and I'm in no way saying that Stanwell's doing the right thing or the wrong thing, this is just my personal opinion.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, I'm not getting a promotion
what they've
out
done
of
is
this.
they've actually gone in and done the studies and seen where, so Mount Hopeful is very windy during the day down the edge of Bajul.
Yep.
Right, Blackdown Tablelands just out past Stanwell.
Yep.
Very windy at night time.
So we're going to put wind farms up there.
We're going to put wind farms up there. We bought the properties already, so we're going to start building wind farms, and we've actually just started the process of training our current employees to go work on them. But what they're doing there is they're hedging their bets, right? You're investing in solar over here. You invest in your hydros, whatever, for your daytime. So, and then you invest in your wind farms at night and day. So you've got like a versatile, if the sun's out, you've still got your wind farms. If the wind stops, you've still got your solar. If that all goes to fucking shit like it did in South Australia a couple of years ago, you've got your batteries.
Yeah.
And
so, being the devil's advocate here, wind farms, I've heard, this may be on Facebook though, one wind turbine has a lifespan of 20 to 25 years and the power it generates doesn't even equate to the energy to produce it. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
It's not correct? Is that just a Facebook fallacy?
That's Facebook fallacy, mate. It's the same with solar panels.
Look at that research.
I know.
Research
isn't real good.
It's good to see 2023, still no research.
The good thing about wind...
I did that on Facebook. I researched Facebook.
The good thing about wind compared to solar is that wind doesn't take up a lot of space. You can still have farming land, like you said, around wind farms. They're just a spot in the middle of a fucking paddock. You go to...
what about the cancer?
About the cancer?
Oh, here we
You haven't heard that one?
Oh, no.
Haven't you really? Well, a lot of those wind farms, I reckon people get cancer from being nearby them, living nearby them. You haven't heard that one?
No.
No. Oh, you live such a sheltered life, Joel.
What would cause cancer out of a wind farm?
You talking about EMF?
Must be the...
Electromagnetic fields?
Yes, must
EMF.
be them. Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Well, actually, no, you are down like sort of a path. So electromagnetic fields have been shown to change. So I can't remember what the study was called. but they checked electricians that worked in high voltage environments are more likely to have girls.
Really? Because of the sperm count or something, or
Something changes from the EMF.
Well, you got 2 daughters?
Exactly. No, the reason I got 2 daughters is you're more likely to have a daughter from IVF as well, because both my girls are IVF girls. Because the males, I think this is right, and I'll probably have to look it up later and make sure I'm right, but the male sperm are faster and don't have a big lifespan, so they get in and they go. And if you get to the egg real quick, that's the male sperm, where the female sperm are more resilient. So it's more.
Oh, right. So they'll survive the IVF,
and they're bigger. And they're more likely that the person doing the IVF will grab the more resilient looking, the bigger sperm and use that.
Right.
So
That's so interesting.
It is. I actually, years and years ago, when I went to high school, I think I was there the first year they brought sex education in, which we thought was a great joke, of course, because we didn't know what sex was. I think I was about 12. But they spoke to us about the male sperm and the female sperm, and they said, ejaculation occurs, there's this race of the sperm and that. And I got kicked out of class and got the strap for asking, if it's a draw, does that mean you have twins? Which I thought was a legitimate question. Why would that not be a legitimate question at the age of 12?
Yep.
Yeah.
You got the strap for it.
Yes, I got the strap for it as well. Yeah. I thought that was a bit harsh, actually.
You got the strap from Dad or from...
No. Dad, I didn't go home and tell Dad that story. I didn't even tell him we were doing sex education.
I think I was one of the last people to get the cane in Queensland. The cane at the grammar.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have thought that was well and truly gone
Well,
by
I
now.
only got it once.
Probably got reported. Someone
Dad
said, "Hey, you're not
I was
meant to be
talking to
doing
Dad
that."
about it the other day, actually. No, I went home and told him. I said, he's like, it was school. I said, gave me the cane. He said, what were you doing? I said, I was putting ouchies on people's seats. I think I was in grade 10 or 11. The ouchies are 2 stables twisted together.
Yeah.
But,
And what did he say? Fair enough.
no, he said, righto. And the next day I was at school, I was just playing in the space frame, we called it, which is basically a big undercover area, and I see my dad walk through and hey Dad, what are you doing? He's like, I'm just going to see someone.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He's walked in and he's pulled this teacher. Wasn't the principal, he might have been like the assistant principal or whatever. He's pulled him out of the meeting that he was in, took him outside and said, you ever hit my boy with that cane again, I'm going to come up and shove it up your ass sideways.
Yeah.
He never even looked at me again. And I don't know how much you know about my dad, but his nickname's Strop, so when he gets angry, you got to turn the windscreen wipers on too.
Yeah. Actually, I reckon he must have been pushing that teacher. I reckon I don't know if it was ever a edit that come around, it was illegal or what, but gee, that's late.
That was late, that would have been 1999, 2000. Yeah.
I think so.
Holy, they were still caning then?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Really?
That would be very...
I remember it clearly because I had my wallet in my back pocket.
Yeah.
And the first time he hit me, I sort of had a bit of a giggle. And he's like, take your fucking wallet out. Pull my wallet out, whack.
Oh, across the backside as well?
Across the backside, yeah.
Oh, geez, yeah.
But he was nasty. I won't say his name. He used to get you like just below the cheeks.
Yeah.
So like that top of the thighs region that's really sensitive. Yeah.
We used to get across the hands. And then
the old knuckles.
Yeah. No, palm of the hands, a leather strap, cane
right.
as well. And if they were really cranky, if they'd send you outside and make you wet your hands first before you come in and got it. I don't know, meant to make it hurt more or something. I don't know.
Masochist, eh?
I think the worst thing I got was told, because I was running through the sprinklers at school, I got told to sit in a garden bed for a whole lunch hour to dry off.
Sit in the garden?
Yeah, to dry off. That was the worst thing. I think as
Is
I
that
was leaving...
high school or...?
Primary school.
Primary school.
And then in high school they brought in these like RTCs or responsible thinking classrooms or something else.
Yeah, kind of like a big naughty corner.
Yeah, they ask all the questions, and if you answer, it's like a stupid psych test really. If you answer it correctly, you don't get punished. Like they'd ask me all the questions and I'd reply correctly and never leave the classroom. So I never really taught my lesson.
I think a couple of my boys went to a couple of them. Not that they were bad kids, but a couple of times, and they knew exactly what to say. And didn't have to stay there long at all.
I didn't make it to the room. I just pushed my luck and managed to stay in the classroom and never had to attend.
There you go.
God. No.
Can you imagine you would have been a bit of a teacher's pet?
No. So.
No.
It all depends. It's more so if I did all my work first, I'd then start being annoying to everyone else, because that's like my report card, perfect. Listening skills, satisfactory. VHAs, HAs, listening skills. Megan tends to distract others.
Yeah.
Consistently.
My brother used to get that on quite a few of his easily distracted. Then by the end of it was getting distracts others.
Yeah.
So, coaching women is your only football now? Will be you're going to make a bit of a
No.
no
No.
no comeback.
No comeback. That game we played last year against Parkhurst towards the end of the year, against Panthers. Sorry, I got to stop calling them Parkhurst because everyone gets up at me. Who's Parkhurst? Yeah, that was my last game, 100%.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to play in the last game with Turtle, and Billo came up from Brazil, and yeah.
Yeah, it'll be Turtle's last. He's had 5 or 6 last games.
Yeah,
Turtle.
yeah, and me too. But that's it for me. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not fit enough anymore either. I'm too heavy, so it's just bad knee territory now again.
Can still nudge a ball though.
I'll
give
still
it
kick
to
a
you.
footy,
Yeah.
but yeah, just the body's not there anymore.
Was that the highlight? The 9 goals?
Uh,
That was, especially after
Actually-
being dropped the week before. No, sorry, you were dropped that
So I was
morning,
dropped-
weren't you? You only
I was
got back
dropped
in.
that day.
Yeah.
So the training on Thursday, he
Are you listening to this, Tim Higgins?
Yeah,
Tim Higgins, you prick.
he came up to me at training and he said, "Oh, you're going to play Rezzies this weekend?" I said, "No, I'm not." He's
I
like,
don't think he meant it as a question, though, did he?
"No, he didn't." But I said, "I'm not playing Rezzies. I'm not playing reserve grade football. That's not what I'm here for. I want to play ones, and that's it. And if I'm not playing ones, then I'm not going back to reserves to get hurt." Was my mindset. And he sort of had a bit of a giggle to himself, and I fully couldn't understand why I was getting dropped. We just played Yeppoon, first game of the year, got pumped. I think the ball came down my end 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
So,
he probably didn't get a lot of opportunity.
no, and I couldn't understand that. And then the next day, I think someone must have pulled out, and then he's rang me up, and do you want to play? I'm like, I suppose I'll play. And then turned up and managed to kick 9 straight. Yeah, walked off the field, and I walked off at half time. I had 5 at half time, and I said to his dad, Dale, I said, "Fucking drop me." So that was one of the highlights of my career.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, didn't get dropped for the rest of the year, did you?
No, I didn't get dropped for the rest of the year. Didn't kick that many goals for the rest of the year, but
No, but
didn't get dropped.
9 lasts a long time up
Yeah.
there. 9 in one game. So what would be the highlight of your sporting career? Is there something outside of football?
Oh, a lot of that stuff when I was younger is sort of a bit of a not here nor there. I played soccer against the Brisbane Roar when they first started the APL, whatever it is now.
Yep.
So they came up. I think it was 2005. There was an article in the paper, and they said, basically the headline was just to hear them roar, sort of thing. So
Yep.
get them around the country and play a few people. So I got Brad Smith picked me in an invitational team to play against them. I was pretty happy with myself. I think it was 1-0 at half time. Goalkeeping, that's awesome. Like these guys were.
Would have been kicking them around. Yeah.
One of their players was a South Korean international, and he had a shot from about 35 metres that I didn't realise was going anywhere near the goal till it was. And I only just got my hand to it. And I said to one of my mates at half time, I said, however many I let in, that's how many Smirnoffs I'll have, because it was 18, 19, whatever. That's how many Smirnoffs I'll have after the game. So the final score was 11-0.
So
Absolutely towered.
yeah, you would. Yeah, you would have been towed by the end of the night too.
Yeah,
Is that Frank Farina would have been coaching that? Frank
sure,
Farina was the
I
guy.
can't
I
remember.
think. Oh, you
But
were.
it was pretty impressive, like watching those guys at that level.
Yep.
Like even though even people say it's only the Australian Premier League, that's still a very very high level of sport. And
Oh yeah.
those guys were just proper professionals, mate.
Yep.
Nothing bothered them. They were fit. It's just you can tell they were professional athletes playing against amateurs.
And that would have been the thing at half time. They would have said, right, let's put
Well,
your foot down now.
You sort of that first half of adrenaline, guys play out of their skin for the first half for our team, and for them it's like a bit of a warm up, and then they destroyed us.
Yeah.
So I remember even pulling my hand out of the way of one of the shots. He was probably 5 metres in front of me. And he's had the shot and he's hit it that hard. I just went, no fucking thanks.
Yeah.
Not at 9-0, mate. You know that one.
What do you think of the Soccer World Cup? I just watched the last 20 minutes this morning.
Yeah, it was good. I don't like seeing games decided on penalties.
I can't understand how you can decide something you have every 4 years on penalties.
Yeah, so
But then again, I suppose if you just did it on extra time, it could be there for 3 days.
yeah. I had Brazil. I thought Brazil would win it. Not sure what happened to them. They sort of just fell apart. But yeah, good for Messi.
Yeah.
Good for him to finish his career. Like you got probably the 2 best players that have ever played soccer in the same competition. Neither of them have won a World Cup. Now one has, and I think that pretty much rules the
The other guys
rules the
just
roost now.
become just a bit of a spoilt brat, hasn't he?
Well, he's just got. I think he signed a $305 million contract to go play in Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone else wants him, do they?
yeah.
None of the major clubs.
No, he got dropped from Manchester.
Yeah, he got
United.
dropped from his own team, his country.
A lot of people left Manchester though too, didn't?
Oh, he's just past it.
They've never been the same since the big guy left. What's his name? Alex Ferguson.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sir Alex.
Sir
um,
Alex Ferguson, yeah.
Yeah, just says something about exiting gracefully, doesn't it? You know,
I think so.
he's
yeah.
got enough money. Surely he's not.
That's right. And I suppose that's the thing, though. He's not. It mustn't be, though. He's just signed that huge contract. But I don't think it's money now. It must be the legacy. I think he would be inwardly distraught that Messi's got that now,
Yeah.
and he'll see thinking, gee, Messi. They'll think Messi's the best. But from what I can gather, Messi's always been more team orientated than Ronaldo. There was
Yeah.
another Ronaldo, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Do you
there
follow
was
soccer?
there was a Ronaldo that played for Brazil.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was, wasn't
And
he?
he had the
He's a
little-
different
Had the little
time,
tuft
is
at
he?
the
Yeah,
front.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, is he a kind of a half a
He's-
generation before or something? He doesn't play
yeah,
now,
he was
does he?
90s.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and he's fat now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, they played it might have been 10 years ago. They played like a charity game. They got all these old good players back.
Maradona and
he
that,
was
if they can
just
get him off.
big gut hanging over or something.
Yeah?
Yeah. But
Yeah, well, he's done his time as a superstar.
plenty of cash, plenty of food.
That legend passed away.
Pele,
Pele.
yes. Yeah. Still, a lot of people still rate him in their top 4 or 5 players of all time.
Well,
Which I don't know how
Cristiano,
you do
I can't do that.
Cristiano got the so he's not married to the birdies with, and he's just been given an exemption because they live in Dubai. You're not supposed to live with your partner unless you're married, and they're not married. He got an exemption that they can actually now live together.
Yeah,
that.
right.
Yeah.
So there is special treatment regardless.
Oh,
Oh, for
definitely,
sure.
You've
yeah.
got the coin and you're ready there tax free. So
Yeah, I don't understand that intergenerational comparative. Like saying that Pele is the best ever or Ronaldo's the best. I can't fathom that. Like people talk about that with footy, like AFL, and they say, "Oh, Dermot Brereton was this and he was that," and I'm like, well, he might have been back then, but he probably wouldn't get a game now. You can't.
that's been
And
the
like
same as
Gordon Coventry, those sorts of guys, you go back then, and yeah, I think it's just once you start going up through stages like we have, where we went through wars and then we came back, and now like the peak athlete is so much bigger and stronger and faster. I think they were the best then. They're not the
Yeah,
best
I
now.
understand that, but by the same token, Gary Ablicine is probably still the best. You could put him out there now, and I think he'd still be the same
well,
guy without... Someone said, oh, what if the training they had these days he had, but he didn't train, hardly. He was just raw talent.
Yeah.
And he was built for football.
Yeah, I agree. But the guys he was playing on were shit.
No.
They weren't good footballers comparatively. They
No,
weren't,
well-
and they weren't as big. So now he'd be playing on a 6'4", 6'5" backman that can run as fast as what he can.
He'd still run through him.
Maybe
I reckon he
big
would.
call.
Gary Ablett...
And this is what I mean. You can never settle this debate
No,
because
and
you
that's
can't
right,
do the
yeah.
comparison.
No, I agree, you can't. The one that still stands out is Donald Bradman, because for all the advances have been in that sport of cricket, he still has an average that is so much higher.
99.9.
Yeah, 99.97,
Even
that's
that,
right.
even
Sydney
that,
postcode.
there's other sides to that as well. Like they're playing with the ball that didn't have a seam. They didn't have the big portray. You know what I mean?
Did they?
Yep.
Really? I didn't know that. You
So
sure?
they didn't have the big stand-up seam that we've got
Yeah,
now.
but they had uncovered pitches. They didn't wear helmets. They had bats that were this wide.
They weren't,
So
bowl-
I-
So as
they
many...
weren't bowling at 155.
No, they're not.
were
Yeah,
they?
but he was batting to the same bowl as everyone else was, and his average still stood above theirs.
There was another guy though, wasn't there, that was high in the averages as well in that same time period.
Not as high as his. There might have... I don't think...
No one's ever got close to his 9.
No, I think
9.6.
no
But
one
he
else
only
has
played-
averaged 60.
He didn't play many games in comparison to how many games a player can play now
No,
for
he
their
didn't,
career.
but he still played 52 tests, so he played more than, more than a few.
I think, you've got to have played 15 or 20 to even come into the comparison, I think.
Yeah.
But you're
But
right.
over 100 innings,
Yeah.
that's pretty good
I think it
average.
comes down to the sport because everyone has that discussion about NBA as well. Like they start doing comparisons between Michael Jordan and,
Yeah.
and
It's
LeBron
forever,
James.
isn't it, that one?
But
Yeah.
I think a good example, Mr. Olympia, right? Think of it this way: if Arnold Schwarzenegger, like he was a freak back then,
Yes.
imagine if he had the technology and the understanding medically now of what they can do now versus what he was doing back then. If he had the ability to do that now, he would turn that competition on like upside its head.
But the drug
That's
testing's
another-
better now.
I know
You
the
wouldn't
drug
be able to
testing
do
is
so
bad
much
now,
juice.
but I'm just saying. But
But
you can't tell me all those boys they're not natural.
Well, I actually heard something the other day, and it was pretty interesting. So there's a guy called Andrew Huberman. He's like a...
is he an Australian guy?
No, he's American. He's a psycho-scientist guy. And he was saying that professional athletes, when they're injured in the NBA, are allowed to have a testosterone level that's around about 4 times what a normal testosterone level is. So if they're on an injury out, they can actually do steroids.
Yeah.
In the off-season, they can do steroids. So all these big guys that you see, they're probably rakes when they come into their college things, and they just juice them.
Yeah, well, see, that's like bodybuilders are still using steroids, are they not?
100% they are.
Absolutely.
I mean, the fact that there's a natural bodybuilding title almost says we accept that you guys are. I can't imagine people can get that big as some of those blokes without it.
Yeah.
Like,
But most of them aren't for like. If you look at Olympia, it's not for the strength. It's for. It's for
no, it's
physique.
definitely not a strength thing. It's a physique. It's a, it is a. How well they pose has a lot to do with how well they
look
do.
good doing it.
Yeah.
I've tried to don't get me wrong. I go into the gym. I try and do some sort of tense thing, and I thought I'm gonna blow. Like my nose will start bleeding. Like honestly, because they're trying to smile, breathe, hold muscle groups together.
Yeah.
Well, that's all what it's about. Like that, you'd see them do the big spread of the lats and that sort of stuff, and you're like, how do you even get your muscles to do that?
Yeah.
Let alone
It's just
like
mind-muscle
control it.
connection. Yeah.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
It's impressive. I can watch that all day. If Bumstead comes out, I'm just mesmerised. The guy that won this year.
bodybuilders.
Yeah, just the Olympia. Like I just think it's fascinating because I've watched the process of doing the bulk, doing the cut, what they have to do leading up to that. I find that fascinating. It's a level of discipline I probably will never ever have.
And it's funny. You'll Arnie's a case in point. You'll see him, in his normal, movie roles and that, and he looks totally different. Like, I mean, he's still a big man, but
you can't maintain that physique.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They used to cut themselves something unbelievable. I reckon they're they're almost dehydrated.
Well,
They are dehydrated.
To get that
so
muscle.
they'll have, like a glass of red wine and
to
stuff like that
dehydrate
the
them.
night before to try and dehydrate themselves
Yeah.
properly.
It's all about the vascularity.
But I think that comes back to like this body sensitive stuff that we've got going on now. Like you look at Instagram and like one of the guys I listen to his podcast and he talks about he's fairly ripped, but he's like, I'm not like this for 350 days of the year.
Yeah.
It's like there's 15 days of the year when I'm absolutely shredded to do photo shoots or whatever, or promotions and stuff. The rest of the time I'm sitting there with my gut over my shorts like you guys,
Yep.
But we sell this whole, this is what you should look like if you're fit. You
That's
should
right,
have an 8-pack and pecs and whatever else, and it's not achievable, and it's definitely not achievable for someone that's got a family and a full-time job and other things going on. You can't spend 8 hours in the gym and be Chris Hemsworth.
It's not sustainable anyway.
No.
Because I made myself a goal to be 10% body fat to see if I could get there, and my PT was pretty much like, don't go too low because hormonally you will just ruin yourself. For a female,
Yeah.
That's quite low, 10%, isn't it?
well, that doesn't guarantee. Like, I don't want a 6-pack or anything, but I just wanted to see if I can discipline my food intake because that's my weakness. That and drinking piss.
10's
my
really
weakness.
low for a woman.
It's
So
very low.
Is
for
it
a
low
woman.
for a guy?
So,
No.
no.
Well,
it is. It's still low. So at about 10, you should start seeing like visible abdominal muscles. That's when you start seeing that.
Someone explained to me, everyone's got a 6-pack. It's just
You can't
what's
see
in
it.
front of it.
So when I was in Western Australia, because I was just working, going to the gym and just eating good food at camp because they had the whole healthy lifestyle thing going, I got down to 7% at
Really?
95 kilos.
7% at 95 kilos?
Because all I was doing was walking up and down conveyors all day doing my cardio. Then I'd go hit the gym, have something to eat, go to bed, get up and do it again the next day. So
Without getting too involved in it all, I once read, though, that fat is stored energy.
Yep.
Right now, I realise
Yep.
you can't store it forever. It becomes cellulite, I think, if it becomes old.
Yeah.
Fat. Like,
It's hard to move.
yeah,
stored,
yeah,
yeah.
so yeah. But like Muhammad Ali, greatest boxer of all time, we'll say, just for this, he never looked cut like guys do, as you probably noticed. And they said he used to go in there with a certain amount of body fat, which probably was never measured in those days, but that was his energy to carry him through, which they used to fight 15 rounds.
Tyson Fury, prime example
Tyson
of that.
Fury, yeah, well, huge man.
Prime example, of
Yeah.
that, but he's got a lot of weight behind his punches. And
Yes,
once you get into
yeah.
that zone, But then you come back a few weight divisions, and like look at the UFC for
Yep.
instance. You come back a few weight divisions, and those guys have to be so lean because they're those guys fighting in the 80 kilo weight range are my size, but they got to be 80 kilos to fight that range. Do you know what I mean? And
Well, I suppose what I'm saying is, at 7% body fat, could you go out and play a game of footy? Have you got the energy to get you through four
Yep.
quarters of football? You have.
I think the difference. It's my darbs. I think the difference back then too, like where I was hardly drinking, I wasn't smoking, and my intake of food was all really high quality stuff. Like you couldn't go to KFC. There was no fucking KFC for hundreds of kilometres. So you had to eat what was at camp. Rio was doing their whole healthy lifestyle thing. Mate, if you wanted a steak every night, you'd walk down there and you'd say, I want a steak, medium rare, and they'd cook you one. So it was the prime spot to
Yeah.
to
That's when
actually
red meat
control
was
your life.
considered healthy.
And then every now and then we'd have a blowout, like, on RDO night or whatever, we might have 10 drinks of the wet mess or whatever, and everyone
Yep.
just goes and passes out and enjoys their day off, but for the majority of the time we were looking after ourselves.
Yeah.
Very lucky because I had a very young crew. We were all mid to late 20s, so we weren't already in that FIFO camp drinking every night lifestyle, but a lot of the guys were. But yeah, but like I said, not maintainable. When that's all you're doing, absolutely great. But
No.
I still didn't have a six pack.
I just wanted to get to 10. Just have it on paper. I was 10%. But I think I got down to 14, and then that's when I made my goal for 10, and then I hurt my knee.
I actually did a proper body scan, like a
Like
CT
the one you
scan.
go, yeah, I want to do that.
So what my work rolled it out for us. They said you don't have to do it. We don't see your results, all that shit, but you can do it if you want to. And I went in there and I thought, I'm pretty fat at the moment. And this was probably 2 or 3 years ago. I'll see what happens. And I think I was 16% body fat. And everyone's like, that's awesome. And then the guy came out to talk to you about your scan. He's like, it's not awesome, bro. He's like, yeah, you're 16% body fat. That's better than the majority of people. He said, but all your fat you're currently storing now is stored around your organs as
What
hard.
was your visceral?
That's what it was.
Was it 16?
No, my body fat was
Oh,
16.
what's your visceral score?
I
Did
don't
they
know.
give you one?
I can't remember, but he said, like, basically, you're skinny, you're not fat looking, but you're storing all this weight around your organs,
Which isn't good.
They work
which is the
harder.
hard fat. And he said you will struggle to get rid of it while you're drinking alcohol. Poorly. He said it just won't go away. You don't just burn it.
Yeah.
Around your organs? I thought it all went around your waist and your buttocks. No? No.
Because there's
hips for
the
me.
normal, yeah, midsection for me, and that's because of all the piss I drink,
Yeah.
and I know that. And I'm not going to give it up anytime soon. I'll just be in moderation. But that's the scans that says that my visceral's under, like, it's 3 or 4, which
Yeah.
is really, really good. But I've seen people who it goes on the paper, it goes to 10, their score is past 10.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
Where do you get all this done?
You can get it done like ASN. Like they're more so a guide. They're not 100% accurate, but
That's
gives you
those stand-on ones.
yeah.
They're not great.
They're not great, but they give you a guide, an idea of what you. Obviously, it depends on what you want to achieve as well. But
Oh, I think
So,
yeah,
so as a footballer, as you're not anymore,
Yeah.
as you are, do you have to find a space between, as you say, you're bulking up and that, but you've got to carry that bulk for a game of football. So is there somewhere between where you say, righto, this is, like I remember Nathan Buckley, they had him bulked up. And then near the end of his career, because he started having like hamstring problems, that they cut him down. Is there somewhere where you say, righto, this is the correct weight for playing football?
for me personally, I feel like I'm built like a brick shithouse in comparison to some of the girls I play against and play with. But for me, I need to be around 72 kilos, and I'm kind of happy at like the maybe 16% body fat ish. But I've played good footy bigger,
Yeah.
but my position was different. So
Yep.
I guess, and the how the game's being played,
Compared to your walk around weight, what's your off season?
I don't have an off season.
You don't?
knowledge, no. I just think more. I do the same stuff, just drink more.
See, boxers used to balloon
Yeah.
weight, and like you said, boxers are trying to get down to a weight to fight in that division.
Yep.
But then, they mightn't fight again for 3 or 4 months. Well,
Yeah.
nowadays mightn't fight for 12 months, and they used to balloon way out, which they.
Well, they're saying in the UFC, some of those guys after weighing, because they do the weigh-in the day before.
They smash food.
Yeah, they put
Yes.
on 3 or 4 kilos.
Yeah.
In the day
Yeah, that's what.
of water and whatever.
Apparently,
else.
it's only of recent time they've.
Yeah.
I think there's 24 hours between the weigh in the fight now.
Yeah, so
and that's
you
what
can
they
smash
do.
it
They
and get
go
energy.
which you'd think you'd be carrying undigested food around nearly, I'd have
Yeah.
thought.
Well, have
but-
you ever seen?
temporary.
You ever seen in the rooms after a game of like AFL, and I think it was Essendon. Who was Brendan Goddard playing for at the end there?
Yeah,
Essendon?
Goddard, yes, Essendon, yeah.
They scanned into the room. Might have been after an Anzac
Yep.
Day game, and they're all eating pizza and drinking Coke. And
Yeah.
I was like, a bit taken back from it. And commentary started talking about it with one of the guys, and they're like, "Yeah, we've got to get the calories back in them,
Yep.
otherwise they get muscle wastage."
Yeah, it's amazing how,
And that's how
all
people
these
lose
sports
weight.
science has
Yeah.
changed.
And that's how people lose weight. For those who indicate their body, like their fitness journey on scales, they just see numbers go down. But the composition of their body
Changes, yeah.
totally changes. So I can drop 2-3 kilos, but if I see my muscle mass go down, I'm really unhappy about that.
Yeah.
So I'd rather
Yep.
lose weight in fat versus muscle, because getting muscle, I can build muscle quite easily. I'm genetically blessed, thank God, for my father. But
Yep.
for those who find it so, like anyone who's skinny, they have to eat so many calories just to get large, and the minute they get sick,
because
they
you've got to
drop
have
it.
the
Yeah.
protein to
Yeah. So
build the muscle.
I've seen. I think when my trainer came in, he boxes, and he needed to drop, I think, like 2 to 3 kilos within 24 hours. Like, hit the sauna for an hour, ate low carb stuff, managed to get in the weigh in, and then after that he could eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
See,
and he was like 90. Oh no, he was just a bit over 100, I think it was
Yep.
at the time.
See, even nowadays, we'll have to wrap this up soon. It's been wide range, but boxers nowadays,
Yeah.
from what I can gather, to cut weight, before the fight, like 2 weeks out, they start drinking heaps of water. Now, it used to be they wouldn't drink much; they dehydrate themselves down. But now, talking to a few guys, what they do is they drink and drink and drink, like 2 litres a day. About 8 litres a day, 6 litres the next day, and all that to lose.
Yeah, so
To
your body,
cut the weight.
if you're not hydrated enough, your body retains your water weight. Because if you're not
yeah.
drinking enough water,
Yep.
your body says, okay.
Right now,
as
so
with-
you're drinking plenty of water, so it
so it's
passes
saying,
it through.
okay, we're getting a
Yeah.
piece of water, let's get rid of some of this.
Oh, right. Yeah,
That's
see,
the
that's
science behind
totally
that.
different to what they would have done
So-
30 years ago.
That's
remember
body's the
Ian
science.
Webster, you've
Yeah.
met Ian?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I remember seeing him when he was cutting weight for a fight, and he had this jug of water, and every day it was just like, fuck this. Like, it just had lines on it where he had to certain
Yeah.
points in the day, and he just. You gotta be really careful, because I think about 8 litres is good, about 10 litres you can drown yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah.
'Cause
8 litres is a lot of
You
water.
dilute your blood too much.
Oh, right.
I love the science behind prep with sport these days. It's so fascinating. I remember, like, even when I was like shadow under-12s goalkeeper for Rockhampton Districts as a soccer player, and we were told don't eat dairy within an hour or so before the game, because the amount of energy your body uses to process milk or dairy products, you would just die in the ass. And then I found out, like, obviously I was like, I wanted a ham cheese toastie, so I still had one anyway.
Yep.
That's why I was a shadow, I guess. And then I think last year or the year before, I started doing a food diary, and one of the trainers at Worlds was like, write down everything you eat and see how your body reacts. And if I had pasta, I was asleep in half an hour. I was like, okay, well, I won't be eating pasta before a game, because it'll just knock me out. But it's a good food source the night before, but not
That's
to be
the
touched.
one thing that I was going to say. Back in the early 80s, we were told have pasta the night before because it's long-term
Plain
energy.
pasta for breakfast
Hey,
is
pasta.
a common AFL diet.
Is it?
Yep.
Really?
Plain pasta for breakfast.
Yeah,
Get up
we-
and have your 2 cups of plain pasta, and by 2:30 in the afternoon you're ready to go.
Yeah, that's when we were 2 o'clock. We were having the Mars and the
Yeah,
can
yeah,
of Coke
yeah, yeah,
for the
yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was having a Nemo's at 12 o'clock before our game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this year. Oh, last
I
year.
can't plan with anything in my guts. I got to play. empty,
yeah. I
100%.
don't think that can of Coke ever helped me. It just made me feel crook actually.
No, I have to eat.
I
And
think
then
it
I
was.
wouldn't eat after a game for 3 or 4 hours after either.
Beer first.
No, I didn't even like drinking beer straight after games. So it wasn't my thing. And I just sort of like chilling out and relaxing a bit before
Yeah.
I had a beer, because I didn't feel like I enjoyed it. Like, you crack it and you're still puffed and like I'm fat and slow, but I'm still fucking tanked trying to get in there, and just waiting a couple of minutes and then I'll actually enjoy it. But it was an interesting what Nicole said about the best thing to have after a game of footy is a chocolate oak.
Who's Nicole's?
Oh, sorry, my sister. My
yeah,
sister-in-law
yeah.
came to chat with the girls last year. Said the best thing
Milk.
for your recovery is a chocolate milk, because it's actually got the exact right amount of calories,
Yep.
the exact right amount of carbohydrates, and the exact right amount of protein in it.
Really? I can't think of much worse than milk after the game myself, but anyway.
Give me a bottle of water.
Yeah,
That's all I want.
exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, this has been quite wide-ranging. Thank
It
you
has.
very
No
much.
worries.
There's a lot of tangents.
There might have to be a part two at some
Yeah.
stage just to fill in.
But you've still got it. Who would you like to hear from on Fresh from the Esky?
Oh, I think Tim Borg would be a good
Oh,
one.
Tim
I was
Borg.
really hoping you would say that.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say, I've
Tim Borg
been
would be
waiting
a
for
really
Tim
good one.
Borg. And I think he'll pretend he takes a bit of a convincing, but I think he's just waiting for someone to ask him, really.
Yeah, I think it'd be excellent.
I think he will be too.
You might he'll have to sit on this high chair though.
Yeah, no,
So-
definitely on
With
the
the
high
booster?
chair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, wait a moment.
Oh,
Wait a moment.
this-
Your
being gifted something, I
Oh
think.
God.
there's your pen
I have a
from
pen.
your guest appearance. There's
Beautiful.
yours, Joel, and
Yeah.
there's your Fresh from the Esky.
I've been fanging for
desirable
one of
one.
these caps.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, sir.
this is the best.
No.
I actually felt really bad because I missed Hodjo's going away party
Oh,
when
yeah,
he,
yeah,
when he
yeah.
left.
I'm not even mucking around. I'm ripping
You're
it
putting
over
it
and
on,
getting
of
it
course you are. I've got my hairs out. When I found out that I was going to Sunny Coast, I was so sad. I realised I'd mistimed everything. So I said, I might make it to your thing, and then the reminder came up. I should have gone because I got a flat tyre in between Bundy and Maryborough at 4 o'clock in the morning. So that was just absolute.
Don't tell
peanuts.
Ben, he'll say that's karma.
Yeah.
Well, we're the only Freo supporters at Glenmore Ball, so
Ben's not free, I suppose, is he?
yes, he is.
Oh,
Yes,
what
yeah.
did you do wrong there?
He went from Brisbane to Port to Freo
See,
in a
I've
space
only-
of about 4 years.
See, I've only stuck with
All
one
three
club.
of the yuckies.
Yeah,
Hey,
I couldn't understand.
who do you
Well,
support
Brisbane,
again?
I could
Who's
understand
Tyler's support?
Brisbane. He's a Brisbane Lions. I remember my sister sent me up a Brisbane Lions and a St Kilda. Because
Yeah.
I'm St Kilda.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm not going to do that as a kid.
Yeah.
I've been through enough myself with St Kilda. I'm not going to force anyone to barrack for St Kilda unless they want to. And I wouldn't barrack. If I had my time again, I wouldn't barrack for them.
I wouldn't barrack for Collingwood, mate, if I'm time again. Like, our family's always been the girls barrack first and the boys barrack for Collingwood and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a fucking curse.
I'm going to
For both
say,
of us.
Anzac Day must be huge.
I changed it. I've said both my girls are barracking for Collingwood, or they can pick the Brisbane Lions when they're old enough to make the decision.
Yeah.
Because they will. They will pick the Lions. And
Well,
they
is
should.
it-
They're Queenslanders.
Well, my kids picked them when they
That's
were
me.
successful, of course. You know, like,
Oh, yeah.
why wouldn't you? But
2003,
now
2004
Tyler
Lions.
regrets he didn't take much note. Like,
Oh, no,
I'd sit
they
him up here for the grand final. He'd want to kick the footy around the backyard. I said, you might not see this.
Yeah.
I can't remember St Kilda winning. You know, that was 66, and I can't remember that. I don't know why I ever supported them. Wasting my time, but anyway.
Oh, well, we've been in, Collingwood's been in 6 grand finals since seven since I've been alive, and won 2.
Yeah, actually, I was just reading the other day since the turn of the century. Once again, Collingwood, I think, have been in 5 since the turn of the century,
Yeah.
and only won 1.
One.
So the old Collywobbers will
We
be
lost-
starting to come round again.
We lost 2 in, what did we lose? 2 in a row against Brisbane.
Yep. One.
Then we had the drawn one with St Kilda.
Yep.
That's the third
Lost
one.
one to West.
Then we beat St
Coast.
Kilda. That's the 4th
Yeah.
one. And then we lost to West Coast in
Yeah.
2018.
I think Geelong have been in
6.
6, and someone else has been in
Hawthorn.
6. Yeah, it might be.
No,
Hawthorn.
Sydney. Sorry.
Sydney,
Swans.
that's right. Yeah, and Richmond have been in 3, won all 3.
Yeah.
Freo's choked everything. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Why Freo?
I've got to wrap this up, but why Freo? Why?
I explained. I think I don't know if I went over this. I was kind of embarrassed when I first joined for Glenmore. When you registered, asked what team do you follow, and I didn't know what teams were at the time were playing, and I liked purple.
So you just click Freo.
Yeah, no, that's good enough.
But I stayed with them. Like, you know, when people jump ship when they go to shit, I don't jump ship. I'm a Titan supporter as well.
Well, when you
Oh,
start
God,
at shit,
yeah.
you can't go to shit. So
Yeah, but no.
No, they had a couple of good. Anyway, look,
anyway,
I've got to
let's
wrap
roll
this
it
up. Thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. We'll sign this off at that and put it in the can.
Oh my